We now move on to the open debate, and to make a first speech, Calum Kerr.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. What an honour it is to have the opportunity to speak in our national parliament, not least as the representative for Midlothian South, Tweeddale and Lauderdale, the constituency I was born in and have called home for most of my life. Now, before I come to the very important subject of this debate, I want to pay tribute to my predecessor, Christine Graham. Now, she served as MSP for this area in its various forms for 27 years and as Deputy Presiding Officer of this Parliament. She was a formidable and determined champion for her constituents. She always put people first, taking no prisoners to get results for them, even occasionally on her own side of the political aisle. She is and will remain a patriot and a champion for Scotland and for independence. I am grateful for her support and I wish her well in her retirement. Now, I wholeheartedly support this motion. The case for expanding childcare is clear and from the introductory remarks is in safe hands. I've heard it on the doors for the best part of a year, from parents from Peebles to Pennycook, Galashiels to Gore Bridge, and from the charities and providers who work with them. I've also been brought up in a household where childcare was a truly valued part of working life. My dad was a teacher. My mum, Grace, trained at Bernardo's, became a nursery nurse, a nanny, ran her own playgroup, and then built and ran her own first nursery in Peebles. All three of my children went through it. Now, I don't claim to be an expert, but I have been steeped in the importance and value of good professional childcare, in the value of those delivering it, and in the reality that they sometimes can feel undervalued. When we announced this policy during the campaign, the response from my constituency was instant. Parents welcomed the ambition and they had questions on the how, the when, and whether it would fit their specific circumstances. The sector immediately got in touch, raising practical concerns about delivery and the workforce who would have to carry it. Our manifesto has given us the ambition and has committed funding. The opportunity now is ours to seize. Two stories from the constituency. One of the challenges parents are facing, one of the good practice that we can build on. In rural areas in particular, there are fundamental gaps in provision. A constituent in Galashiels wrote to me during the campaign. Her after-school club had closed with no local alternative, despite it being the second biggest town in my constituency. She now pays £10 a day in taxi fares to get her child to a club in Melrose so she can keep working. That is what those gaps look like in real life. It is also the cost of living in the most literal sense. Also during the campaign, though, I visited Stow Primary, a few miles up the road, where Stow Kids Club, with support from Schools Out, runs a breakfast club and an after-school club on site. Built by parents and providers, run on tight budget, it shows what is possible. Now, our ambition extends in two directions, down to 9 months and up through primary. In practice, though, those are two very different operations. Extending wraparound care to the end of primary, I believe, offers the chance to build on infrastructure and models that already exist. After-school clubs, breakfast clubs, holiday provision. It is the fastest path to real relief for working families. The Government already recognised that in the last budget, with an initial £15 million for breakfast clubs and £2.5 million for school provision, after-school provision. The work now is to make sure our investment grows to match the scale of the gap, and what works in Stow becomes the norm rather than the exception. Now, the extension down to 9 months, as we all know, is a different proposition. Staffing ratios, training and equipment requirements are all much higher. I know we will make sure we get this right, but a phased approach would get us a real opportunity to deliver benefits early while building out this capability. Whatever the phasing, though, we have to do this with the sector, not to them. Providers tell me they feel stretched and sometimes undervalued. As one put it to me, this is not just playing with children all day. It's skilled professional work, and we must treat it that way, in pay, training, career structure and regulation that fits the setting. Childminders, private nurseries and school-age providers, like Schools Out, all want to be part of this. Let's make sure we don't unintentionally undermine them, but build on what is working with them in partnership. Presiding Officer, this is one of the most significant pieces of work this Parliament will take on over the next 5 years. The expansion can be transformational. Childcare built around families, not families having to fit around childcare. It can give children the best start in life. It can support more parents into the work they want. As a party and as a Parliament, let's get this done for the families in Galashiels, Stow and in every town and village beyond. Thank you.